What's going on, people, and welcome back to Totalozspurs. Before we get into it, make sure you are liking and subscribing to the channel and hit that bell button for all future notifications. But D, it's been a while, brother. How are you, bro?
Yeah, good man. I've been busy. Obviously dad duties and obviously working. But other than that, man, yeah, I've been good.
Well, that's good, bro. But a lot's happening in and around the club at the moment. There's a lot of
Mm,
good things happening, but there's also a few people that are upset, and that's what we're here
mm,
to address. Let's get into Richarlison first off. So we all saw how animated he was coming off the pitch against United. Fair to say he didn't really have a good game, um,
mm,
but he didn't receive much service in good positions to score anyway. And Richie
mm,
has himself come out on Twitter and said that he wasn't upset because he was being substituted. He was upset because he received no service. Do you think Richie's got a right to be upset with the way the game panned out?
Well, for me personally, I think yeah, he has a right to be upset, but then at the same time, I think he just needs to look a bit more hungry in those kind of moments. He's got to take those moments. There's a couple of shots he could have. There's a couple of times he could have, made contact with the ball. I think the one that deflected off the post. I mean, if he corrected himself, he would have maybe got a foot to it and maybe went to the back of the net. But that's what I mean. Like, there's chances like those that Richie really needs to take, and unfortunately, he's not taking them. So I mean, but then also, this is where Sun and Cooley step in. They gotta provide him the service, the right passes in at the right time. And the way Cooley's been going about it is like there was a couple of sessions in the game where he went off his right, he didn't come off his left, and I mean that's when he looks good. When he goes off his right, he looks actually good. So I mean, look, I think for me, I think Richie just needs to just keep going. His goals will come. They will come. I have a feeling they will come, but it's just when they come, he's gonna make sure he takes those chances. He cannot let it slip because then that's where everyone's gonna criticize him and say, "Look, he had a chance there. Why did he not take it?" And I mean, he did it, like against Lions City. Like you can't really count, those type of goals. Like it was a low, they were a low league team. So I mean, and now the Premier League has started. He really needs to start. Just keep pushing forward and just keep going. I mean, look, he's filling a big shoe. He's filling for Harry Kane, like one of the best strikers in the world. So I mean, it's a lot of responsibility for himself, but he's got to be patient a little bit more.
Yeah, look, I mean, I completely agree with everything you said. I will say that you are completely right. He has had limited chances, but top elite strikers take those chances. I think Harry Kane would have scored one or two of those chances if he was in the same position. I don't like talking Harry Kane too much because he is a Bayern Munich player now, but you have to put into context. Obviously, which is a different style of player. But at the end of the day, we're looking for a guy that's going to be clinical when we need him to be, especially in the big games. And to me, United was a big game. And as much as he didn't receive the service that I think he should have, I do think he didn't do much with the chances that he actually had. And
Yeah,
the thing is, sometimes as a striker, you have to kind of make your own chances. You can't just wait for them. You can't, there is games where they don't get service, but then sometimes I feel like, Harry Kane used to go searching for the ball to try and get the
yeah,
ball because he wasn't touching it enough. So for me, I think, I could agree with you. I think he needs to um, try and be a bit more clinical or take his chances. But I will say the next four games: Bournemouth, Burnley, Fulham, and I can't remember the fourth game that we have.
I think it's
But
Luton
the
down.
next four games are
Yeah,
all winnable before that run with Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool in the back to back. So if he isn't scoring goals in the next four games, then I think pushing Son into the middle and starting Perisic or Solomon on that left is the way to go.
yeah,
But we won't dawdle too much on Richie. It's kind of a little bit of a negative video today because the Celso seems to be upset. reports are saying that Ange promised him game time, and considering he hasn't featured in both our two opening games, he's quite upset with Ange and says he's broken promises, and he's ready to leave fully. I mean, what do you take on this? Because I felt like Lo Celso deserved an opportunity, and he might get it, considering that Madison may be injured. But we'll not talk about that today. We'll talk a bit more about Lo Celso. So, first of all, do you think he has every right to be upset if this is the case? And second of all, do you think he should try and fight for his position, or do you think that leaving is the best option?
Well, for me, for what he done in preseason, he did a lot, and I was actually enjoying what Lo Celso was doing. And as we always say, who's the better option, Ndombele or Lo Celso? And yeah, I've always said Lo Celso. I think Lo Celso is one of those players that can create a lot than what Ndombele can. So I mean, look, yeah, Lo Celso has the right to be upset. If Ange is promising game time and he's not getting it, then yeah, I would be upset as well. So I mean, at the same time, he's just gotta be patient. But then is he gonna get in front of Madison? Which not a chance. I don't think he's gonna beat Madison in that position. So I mean, would I see him behind Madison, like playing next to Basuma? Yeah. If I had to choose between Sa, Lo Celso, or Skip, my two will be Sa and Lo Celso. And Skip, I know this is going off track, but I think Skip doesn't fit the system at all. I think he's more of a deeper role. But for me, I think Lo Celso does deserve a chance to prove himself to Ange. But if he is going to have that chance, he's going to make sure he takes it with both hands and just prove us all wrong. Then why we want to keep you. So I mean, yeah, it's a different one to swallow for Lo Celso. I feel for him. What he done in preseason was excellent, and now he's not seeing any game time now. Now that the Premier League has started, so I do feel for him. But at the same time, like we got a lot of midfielders that are going to be trying to fight for their place. So, I mean, if he really wants it, he's got to try and topple it. Like we got Bentacore coming back soon. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard to try and see who works better in what positions.
Well, that's what I was going to touch on. Is personally, I think that we've got too many in those positions. For me, we don't have enough of a defensive midfielder. Amrabat is linked to United, and that's one player that I think that we could even put Basuma in that number 6 role and have Amrabat protecting the back. And I think that will actually really strengthen our midfield, even though it's going good at the moment. But that position of playing the number 6 role that gets in and around the box, I think he could play it. But then, do you think that maybe Ange might be looking at Bentacore and going, well, Bentacore's there, Skip's there, Sar's there. We need someone to cover Madison. And Madison is injury prone. So maybe Ange thought, you know what, I'll let Madison get into his stride. If he gets injured, then Lo Celso takes the stage. I don't know. Personally, I would keep Lo Celso out of all the players that we would put on loan last season. I think he's the only one that could provide us with something. But it looks like Ange might see something different. I don't know. It might just be blown out of proportion. He might just be upset that he's not getting game time. And everyone should, his close family or friends or reporters are assuming he wants out. But we'll have to wait and see on that one because, if he's out, there's only, 9 days?
9 days.
9 days to the end of the window. So if he wants to leave, he's going to have to make a good show of it to get out. And that, talking about 9 days to the end of the transfer window, we've been very quiet the last couple of weeks since Van der Ven got announced. Looking at the squad now, look, we've had 2 games. We've dominated possession in both games, created the most passes in both games. Basuma's been immense. Madison's been great. Adoji really looks like he's going to fucking really do well this season. Is there any spot on the pitch you think we need to
Look,
strengthen?
well, as you touched on it before. I think we need another defensive midfielder. If Basumi gets injured, we got no one to cover him. I don't think Skip would be able to do that job. But then we do have Hoiberg as well. So I mean, yeah, look, it's that's another he can fill that spot if he doesn't leave. I think we still need another centre back. I think a centre back we still need just to cover Romero. Um, but then do we need two? Look, or it's really hard because you got Davies there, but I don't see Davies as a centre back. I see him as a left back.
No, I think he's going to be the cover left back. I think Regulon's gone. I think Ange
Yeah.
prefers Davies defensively going forward.
Mm,
Davies does overlap. Obviously, not as good as Regulon, but I think he defends better. And I think Regulon's done. I don't think Ange wants him. That's why I think
no.
Davies came on. But yeah, so carry on. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, I think Davies will stay. I think Regulon will go. Do I trust our right backs in Royal? I trust Royal defensively. I don't trust Poro defensively.
In
Attacking
saying that
wise,
though, Porro did have a good defensive game
yeah, he
on
did.
the weekend.
But
First half,
he
he
did.
allowed Garnacho a lot, but second half,
Oh
he,
yeah,
he, he did pick it
that's what I
up
was
fairly
worried
well.
about. That's what I was worried about. Ganacho getting all that room. Poro let him have all that room. I was a bit worried there. I'm like, oh no. So I mean, he did actually prove in the second half. So credit to him. So I mean, do we actually need another right back? I say no. I think, in all honesty, I think we just need another centre back just to cover Romero. Um, yeah, just to cover, or even a left side centre back. If Dyer's going to stay, he'll be you know, the fucking right hand. I think we just need another left centre back. So I mean, yeah, I think that's all we need so far, just to strengthen our squad, just a DM and another left side centre back. I
Yeah,
think
I
that's all
mean,
we need.
I completely agree, but with the way that our forward line's looking, if a Charleston isn't it, we may need to get a cover winger to cover. I know we have.
Mm,
So for me, I don't think we do because for me we have Perisic on the left. Um, well, the thing is, Kulu's not firing either. So for me, I would actually get a cover. I know we've got Solomon on the right. We have Perisic on the left, and then But if Perisic goes on the left and Son goes through the middle, who covers Perisic? Because Hill's still injured, and I don't know if Hill will play. I think Hill will do well in this system, to be honest. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I think my microphone might pick it up. But it's actually started to piss down rain.
yeah, yeah.
um,
So mine.
I
I
mean,
don't know if you
I
guys
mean,
hear.
I don't know if
Yeah,
anybody knows, but Delaney lives about 2 stone throws away from my house. Yeah, you can hear it now.
yeah, I can hear it.
So apologies, guys, if you can hear that while we're talking. But yeah, I think a DM and another centre back at least before the end of the season, before the end of the window. Sorry. Um, I think a DM which can allow Basumi to go forward, but also in case Basumi does get injured, we have a backup. Because I feel like we're 1-2 injuries away from turmoil. And on saying that, with Madison maybe being injured, if we're not going to play Lasalso, then we need a backup centre attacking mid. And Alex Scott, who's gone to Bournemouth, would have been a good backup. Young, Tottenham through and through. He could have covered it fairly well.
Mm.
But in saying that, with the wingers, we are actually linked, and this will be our final bit of the video. Tottenham are linked to Brennan Johnson from Nottingham Forest, but they're asking for a whopping 40 to 50 million pounds now. Harvey
Yeah.
Barnes was rated that, and he went to Newcastle. And for me, if Harvey Barnes isn't worth 40 to 50 mil, there is no way Brennan Johnson is. He's a good player, probably Nottingham Forest's best player. But for me, he's 25, 30 mil max. I don't think he's a 40, 50 million pound player.
Nah, nah. I don't think you got to look at the English tax as well. So I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, as saying that, I don't think he's worth that. I think as you said, I think he's like a 30, 40 million pound player. Like he's a good player. Like watched a couple of them times, not in Forest. Like He's really good. He can play on the right. I think he can play on the left as well. So he can play all up at the three. So I mean, he's perfect. He's versatile. So for me, it's a hefty price to pay for him. It's a really hefty price. I think we can look somewhere else. Because to be honest, if we could have got Zaha, he left on the free.
I
Wilfred
mean,
Zaha.
we weren't going to pay him the money, but I guarantee he would have picked staying in London, staying in England, playing with a team that at that point in time had Harry Kane, Son, Basuma, Madison in the team. I think he would have been a great addition. And with Kane leaving, we could have had him playing on that left hand side, and he would have been absolutely rapid.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But obviously, Galatasaray jumped the gun. So I mean, look, there's a lot. He would have been one. He would have been a great shout. He would have been a great shout. For the left hand side. But Brendan Johnson, look, we'll have to wait and see. It's just a hefty price to pay for him. If you want to try and lower that price, maybe a swap deal for like a Ndombele or fucking Sanchez. Just maybe try and lower that price a bit. But yeah, I think we could look elsewhere. But if we really want him, then I mean, I'm happy to go for him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. 9 days left of the window. Hopefully, we can pull off one or two more signings. I
Yeah,
do feel like we need a couple of players in those defensive roles.
yeah,
Once our defense gets sorted, our attack will develop. Funny thing is, we've scored 4 goals in 2 games, and not one of the forward three have scored.
yeah.
So we're getting goals elsewhere. But on that note, guys, we are going to call that there. Make sure you are liking and subscribing again. Comment down below how you're feeling about the Brendan Johnson deal and the comments about what Richy made. And also, if you feel like Lascelles has been hard done by,
Mm.
it's always good to hear what you guys think. Stay safe, take it easy. And as we always say here at Total Spurs, stay Spursy, guys.
Stay Spursy, guys.